Yeah, for sure.
Just little baby steps.
It's the tiniest baby steps, but we'll get there.
It's all, at least, you don't have to be perfect, because 1,000 people trying to do better is a lot more important than 1,000,000 people being perfect vegans, because there's no such thing as a perfect vegan. I saw a really good call out post on Twitter saying, hey, if you're wearing vegan leather, you're literally wearing plastic and still contributing to
truth. Yeah,
the death of our planet.
That. Yeah, that's absolutely true, man. Even if like everybody just does meatless Mondays, at least you're doing one day. You know what I mean? That's all you really need to do. That's cool.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, guys. So that's how you should do Earth Day.
I did Earth Day by not showering today and being disgusting.
Good, because you should not waste water like that with a shower, Sam.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, sponge baths only from now on.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to Real Horror Show. I'm your host, Samantha. I'm joined as always by the Stormy Skies, our resident environmental advocate.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everybody. It's Earth Day while we're recording, so Sam and I had a very scholarly discussion about what to do to celebrate Earth Day.
By scholarly, she means we talked about our gardens.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Sam's garden, and then which is her wildflowers, and then my garden, which is just like my grassy lawn. Yeah, rest in peace, my tulips that are dead, but maybe they'll live again next year. Who knows? Anyway, speaking of the earth,
you know what I really look forward to buying when David and I eventually get a house?
What's that?
I really want to get a little bat house, because bats are also very good for the environment because their poop is excellent fertilizer.
Yeah, well, that's excellent. Maybe I need that for my lawn to fertilize, because you can possibly over fertilize with the stuff you buy in stores. So the natural stuff is always the best stuff. Mm-hmm. So bat house, that would be absolutely adorable.
Plus, it's kind of on brand for us.
It absolutely is, but you'd have to have like a cute pink bat house. It would be like on brand.
Yeah. I guess I could just paint it myself.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
A little DIY project.
Yeah. I think that'd be cool.
But speaking of getting into nature.
Yeah.
You know what we probably shouldn't do?
We probably shouldn't go into the Grizzly Maze.
Exactly. Exactly. Into the Grizzly Maze, originally titled Red Machine, then changed to Endangered, and then later to Grizzly, is a 2015 American action horror thriller film directed by David Hackle from a screenplay by Guy Moshe and Jack Rayer. It stars James Marsden, Thomas Jane, Piper Perabo, Scott Glenn, and Billy Bob Thornton. The plot follows two estranged brothers as they reunite at their childhood home in the Alaskan wilderness. The pair are then led to the Grizzly Maze, where they are stalked by a massive, bloodthirsty grizzly bear. The film released on video on demand on May 19th, 2015, before a limited release on June 26, 2015.
All right. Before we say anything, I have one question.
Okay.
And that is the Grizzly Maze a maze?
No, I think how they explained it in the movie is kind of dumb, and I'm not even sure if the Grizzly Maze is a real thing. It's apparently, like, in the movie at least, it's this dense area forest where even grizzly bears get lost, and I think what their dad did was it's also a grizzly bear sanctuary. So, like one of the bears they find when they're out there has a tracker on it that the brother put on it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what it's intended to be.
Okay, I see now.
I think. I did that. I'm glad you asked that because I felt like they didn't do a great job explaining it.
Yeah, because I was like, is it called a maze because it's like maze-like, or is it just the name of the area of the woods?
I think it's just easy to get lost in.
You know what? Yep. I mean, it is the woods, Sam, and we already know that you should never leave the trail.
Yeah. Even if you're used to it, because your dad used to go out there and then you're a piece of shit son who then took hunters and poachers out there to hunt grizzly bears. Which are grizzly bears endangered? I guess they are. If they,
you know what? At this point in the movie, they might as well be because of all the dead grizzly bears. Jeez.
Are grizzlies endangered? Threatened. They are a threatened species under the Endangered Species Act.
Okay.
There are less than 1,500 grizzlies left in the lower 48 states, but about 31,000 in Alaska.
Oh, okay, right on.
Which I guess makes sense for the lower 48 states because grizzly bears are significantly more dangerous than their black bear counterparts.
Yeah, yes, they are.
We don't have a black bear problem in the area, but there are a lot of black bears in my area.
Oh, wow.
Like where my partner currently works, he used to work a night shift, and someone he worked night shift with forgot their badge that lets them into the building. So he was knocking on the door waiting for someone to come back, and a little baby cub starts walking up to him. And so he starts pounding even harder because the mom's probably not far behind him.
Right.
And even though the little cub wants to come play, the mom is not going to be happy about that. And they also have a koi pond at their work. And one day David got to work and saw that one of the koi had been half eaten by a grizzly bear. Not a grizzly bear, a black bear.
Oh man, poor koi.
The grizzly bears, you don't want to fuck with out in nature. If you see one, I think you want to just immediately run the other direction. They're very
they're
dangerous.
So dangerous. Yeah.
So
they're like deadly.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about some of the characters in this movie.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's get into it.
Okay. The most controversial statement that I invite people to take out of context once we get canceled in 5 years. The women in this movie serve no real point, and you could cut them without missing anything.
Yes. Yeah, because by the end of the movie, I actually thought back and I was like, wait, well, what about the Native American woman that he left behind in like the motel room? Like, is he gonna like go to her? No. Okay. And then we have the two main characters who are women, and one is deaf, so she doesn't even have a line. And then the other just fucking there to be injured.
Yeah, be there. Like they only serve the purpose of being damsels in distress. And it was so frustrating because everything that happens to these characters could have taken place between the two brothers and really like made a really nice compact story, bringing them back together. But we never get that moment that we deserve with these two brothers.
No.
Like when James Marsden is explaining like what actually happened and why he went to jail, he's not explaining that to his brother. His brother's just eavesdropping. And I could be totally off base. I don't know the screenwriters. I don't know the director. Just briefly looking them up, nothing about them being deaf came in. And you can fucking tell they're probably not deaf because of how they wrote their deaf character.
Yeah, that really like did come out of nowhere, like that she was deaf. And I was like, oh, is it because of like something that happened with a bear? You know what I mean? But like, no, just because.
Yeah, it was representation for the sake of representation. And it was done very lazily because there was like a few instances of sign language, but even her husband, who should be like just naturally signing in front of her, I would feel.
Yeah.
Doesn't sign, and she can just magically read lips from any angle.
I know, right?
We have some family friends who are deaf, or their parents are deaf. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But her parents can read lips, but they prefer it if you whisper while talking to them, because when you whisper, you tend to over exaggerate your lip movements.
Oh.
So just speaking at a normal volume, and we see this with like quote unquote lip reading experts, they always get shit wrong. That's why those YouTube videos are hilarious.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just, and I just feel bad for her because no one's making an effort to include her in the conversation. So you could just put a cardboard box in her place and I wouldn't know the difference.
Dude, yeah, exactly. Like she has no lines. There's barely sign language. She becomes a damsel too because she gets lost. Mm-hmm. The only reason she's out in the woods is because she's like a nature photographer.
Pursue your dreams or whatever, but being a nature photographer in woods where grizzly bears are known to be, mm-hmm. and you're deaf and you don't have a cochlear implant, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not by yourself.
Not by yourself. And she was photographing baby wolves, right? Little wolf cubs.
Yeah.
So, like, you're not going to hear the mom come out at you from behind.
I know. Don't you think that's, like, inherently dangerous? Like, it is. So, there's just, like, so many things that, like, they got wrong. And it wasn't cute. It was, like, this is absolutely a mistake.
And, like, if you want to have that differently abled representation, just don't bother having the wife. You had that opening scene in the beginning where the older brother saves the younger brother from a grizzly attack by shooting a gun at the bear. What if the gun, like, I don't know, misfired or something, and it was so loud that the older brother lost his hearing because of that?
Yeah.
There you go.
That would have been cooler. That would have been actually more compelling.
Yeah. And then it just would have been more compelling if you didn't have the shoehorned in love interest because they just tripped. One got a stick through her leg.
Yeah.
They were a hindrance. And your conflict can just come from these two brothers coming back together to find this bear or this woman's husband, right? That's why James Marsden came back, is to find the woman's husband.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That they kind of just forget about at the end.
Yeah, because Johnny Cadillac, which is his name, he got shot by the poachers. We never see him again. We never see the poachers again.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Like,
yeah. So I guess they're dead.
And then you have Billy Bob Thornton, who's there, which probably a production note more so because it's costume choice. I didn't like his glasses. They were weirdly young on an old man.
Yeah, they didn't seem to fit with a man whose trade is to track animals in the wild. Maybe he should have contacts instead or something. So those glasses did not match his style at all. You're absolutely right.
Like that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, those are very IT professional glasses he's wearing.
And you know what? When I first saw him, I kind of thought that that's what he was going to be, like the town weirdo who was like big into like researching like paranormal, like, or not even paranormal, but was like, you know, creepy grizzly bear myths. But no, he's the local tracker. Doesn't he look so clinical?
I love Billy Bob Thornton. Sling Blade is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, dude. He's an excellent actor, but this movie, like he tried to like do his best, but like he knew that this was kind of dumb.
He got his paycheck and left.
That's basically it. I think that's kind of like what happened with everybody, man. Yeah.
And I was looking forward to a nice grizzly bear horror movie, but everybody sucked.
Yeah.
Just a quick paycheck kind of movie. Get some really nice shots of the Alaskan wilderness.
Yeah.
Which, you know, completely off topic, but I watched the new Wrong Turn a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Very weird movie. Not sure if I liked it. Very different from the rest of the series. But what I do appreciate about this installment is they take a moment to appreciate the beauty of the Appalachian wilderness, which is something the other movies had not done before.
Oh, well, that's good because Appalachia is close to our hearts because that's where we're kind of at. You more so.
Yeah. So I like when movies take a moment to appreciate their setting.
Yep. Yeah.
And this movie did have a very lush, beautiful setting. I just wish the story was stronger.
As lush as the setting. Agreed.
Thank you. Yes. Very nice. Turn of phrase there.
Cool. Hey, let's talk about a crossover that happened. The girl who is like
the useless girl.
Yeah, the useless girl who I guess is like she's like an EMT or some shit, isn't she? Doesn't do much fixing of people because she gets herself fucked up and can't fix herself either. So she's in the Vampire Diaries. She was because she was a she-wolf. She was a werewolf and she died in season 2.
Like everybody in the Vampire Diaries, she died. Of
course they did. Yeah, of course. But she died, but her character was a bit more exciting in the Vampire Diaries because she stuck around for a little bit longer and she wasn't just there to be just like a pretty girl, you know, because that's all she was, just a pretty girl.
True.
She did not add anything to the story. Yeah, none of these women did, and that kind of sucked. And so you're right, I kind of wish they weren't there so we could get more of a forced connection, at least between these two brothers who like look nothing alike, but I guess, you know.
They are both white males with brown hair. They are identical.
They are, you know what? I kind of allowed that to get past me. So you know what they are.
It's actually why I can't let David and Luke in the same room because as white men with brown hair, we might
not know which one will be David, like which one will be Luke. How will we know?
Yeah.
Oh my God, especially if they're sitting like together, like shit, that would be fucked up.
Yeah. I'd be like, whoa, man.
Yeah, exactly that noise. That would be like that. Okay, so I do like Scott Glenn. He was the one like sheriff guy. He's in Sucker Punch and he's in like a bunch of these movies, and I really like him because I like the way his voice sounds when he speaks. But I just felt like all of these police officers and everybody in town, they just like really kind of had no idea what to do with this situation. It was very strange. Looking at all of their performances together, you were right about a missed opportunity. They could have built it up to be some big, huge, cursed land with an evil werewolf who couldn't die, but it was simply, or not a werewolf, but a grizzly bear, I'm sorry, but it was simply just a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, this grizzly bear like can't be killed and he's clever, but he was killed all the same. So spoiler alert, if you listen to the mini-sode, Sam called it when she said the grizzly bear dies in the end.
Which, all right, I guess let's just move into story because this is a big story note.
Okay, cool.
When they threw the Molotov cocktail at the bear, did you laugh at the fire effects they used?
Yes, because I was like, wow, that fire is all fake and shit. Yes, I did.
And then you get the shots of the fire behind the grizzly bear. And I'm having this is what makes me think it was a trained bear, maybe.
It was.
Okay, they had the trained bear on a green screen, and it was such a poorly done green screen that it looks so stupid.
Yeah. The one thing about this movie is it did have a real grizzly bear, because when you look at the cast, like the grizzly bear is cast. He has like a name and a handler.
I didn't notice that. I want a trained grizzly bear.
Trained grizzly bear. And they're like, okay, grizzly bear, do a big roar. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, this movie, unfortunately, although it had this beautiful live animal, they fucking saddled it with awful looking 2015 green screen CGI fire, and it was just ruined.
Also, I found their escape at the end in the little pontoon boat funny, and I guess that's why they had to throw a Molotov cocktail at the bear, because grizzly bears can swim.
Oh, I guess they can with their little heads above, like
yeah, they go fishing.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh no, bears can't swim. You're totally gonna get away.
Yeah, you're totally gonna get away. Especially the water that they were in was basically like 6 inches deep too. So yeah. That whole ending there with like trying to get on the pontoon. The grizzly bear basically like attacks everybody a little bit, but like no one is like injured at all except for like some scratches. And listen, you would be like fucked up if you got like one paw swipe from that grizzly bear. Its claws are like razors. And the only time we actually see something like that is before Billy Bob Thornton dies. He like tries to shoot the grizzly and he has this big scratch on the side of his face, which is average, like some average like special effects makeup. You can tell because they zoomed in on it for too long that it was like super fake and it didn't look very cool or real. But that's how everybody's face ought to looked after one swipe from this bear. Anyway.
And he wouldn't be walking. He'd be either dead or severely concussed.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I'm like looking at pictures.
And he doesn't have his glasses on. How is he going to hit the bear without his glasses on?
Yeah, I know, right? And then, yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I'm just looking at pictures of the Grizzly Maze, like, DVD cover. I guess that's what this is. And it's hilarious. The picture is. But anyway... Yeah, the ending was just a bit confused. I thought a lot of people were going to die, especially James Marsden, the main character, because he was kind of held underwater and blood was coming out. But when he resurfaced, he wasn't really bleeding anywhere. So I thought that everybody was going to get killed, but yeah.
No, this is one of those bummer movies where everybody lives at the end, which I don't always have a problem with. Like, I was fine with it in his house because they deserved a semi-happy ending.
Yeah.
But someone in this movie needed to die that wasn't Billy Bob Thornton. Like, I think that's the only reason Billy Bob Thornton's character was killed or even existed was just to be killed off so they wouldn't have to kill off one of the brothers or one of the women.
Why didn't the girl who was severely injured die of like, I thought she was actually going to die of like having an infection in her leg. Yeah.
She had a fucking stick go through her leg.
Her calf muscle. Yeah. Ouch.
Like, it probably scratched the bone.
Yeah, dude. And then she's like, it's all good. It's all good. I'm an EMT, so therefore I'm fine. As long as I am cuddled up and warm in a tent to sleep, I won't get blood poisoning at all.
Yeah.
All good.
Oh, yeah. The bear is Bart the Bear too.
Bart the Bear
too. And he looks like such a sweet boy.
He's a sweet boy, but not when he roars.
Oh, wait. Was his handler in the movie?
Oh, was he as like maybe just an unnamed character or something?
His handler looks just like the sheriff.
Oh, really?
I don't know what the sheriff's name was.
Yeah, I don't remember his name. They all had like last names for first names. But I guess we really should have known that since this movie was renamed like 5 times, we should have known that it was kind of like not gonna be great.
Yeah, just like I don't want to say anything. I don't know if the director listens to the podcast.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you are referring to, though. Yikes. I can see the future very clearly now about that one.
I should give you some updates regarding that one.
Oh, yeah, you really should.
Not on mic because...
Of course, yeah, not on mic. Sorry, listeners. But I will say on mic that Sam, you have to look at these images of Into the Grizzly Maze like DVD cover because they are just as bad as the whole movie was. If you just Google Into the Grizzly Maze and look at images. And then we can...
Oh, God. How very 2005.
I know, right? They're a decade behind. My favorite is the screaming shot of James Marsden because he's scared of the bear. But anyway, the story, it was kind of like very meh.
Yeah.
It was a missed opportunity, like you said.
It was very, on the surface level, very generic. Mm-hmm. But if they took my advice retroactively and cut the love interest, because basically it's two estranged brothers coming back together when the younger brother is called by the wife of Johnny Cadillac, who's gone missing in the Grizzly Maze, and James Marsden comes back to find him, which is weird because his brother's already there and also knows the Grizzly Maze.
And he's also a police officer.
He's also a police officer, and he's the one who does the tagging and tracking of the grizzly bears. But I guess whatever you need for the inciting incident, right?
That's actually funny because now I feel like James Marsden doesn't have to exist either. Like, shit.
Ooh, a nice little solo horror movie of one guy going into the Grizzly Maze to fight a grizzly bear.
Dude, yeah, man versus bear. Now that would have been extremely anxiety-inducing.
And he's also deaf. There you go.
And he's deaf because of an accident. There's the movie. Boom. That's it. That's it, dude. And then add a little curse on the land because the poachers keep killing the bears. So now everything on the land is cursed. And then add another little thing where you have to fix the curse by collecting all the remains of these bears and putting them back on their land that they're supposed to be on. And then boom, Ooh. There you go. Ooh. That's where I thought they were going with, that's honestly where I thought they were going after they killed Johnny Cadillac. I was like, uh-oh, you've been marked. But nope, yeah. It's just Mr. Bear. He's always been there. He's not special.
Yeah. He's just an angry grizzly. And there was really no reason for him to be angry.
Yeah, and also, like, he didn't really attack anybody, did he? Because they, like, went after this grizzly bear. Like, wait, Sam, I'm sorry, I probably let it go right over my head, but what was the actual reason that they were attacking this bear specifically? Did the bear come at somebody?
I don't remember. I think it might have been because it wasn't like one of the tagged grizzly bears.
Yeah.
And also part of it was just that Johnny Cadillac had gone missing. But that was because he was poaching, I guess, or he was out to get the poachers who were on the land.
Right.
But I guess maybe there's something like with dogs, once they taste human flesh, you kind of need to put them down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it kind of reminded me of the man-eaters, the two lions like back in the 1800s, early 1900s, who just kind of went on a bizarre murder spree. But they didn't really give any kind of scientific explanation for why the grizzly bear would be doing this. In fact, the grizzly bear was just in the land designated for grizzly bears. It wasn't like coming into town, which is what I thought
me too.
Might happen in the movie, is that serial killer logic, so it just starts coming into town and attacking citizens, which is a reason to potentially put down a grizzly bear or trinket and put it in the woods. Since grizzlies are on the endangered species list, I guess, you wouldn't kill it, you would trinket and then move it away from the community.
Exactly. What the problem that I saw was actually the humans were like, let's go into the grizzly maze and camp out. Uh-oh, the grizzly's near us.
The grizzly was completely in the right because the poachers were there to kill grizzly bears.
Yeah, they should have just left and nobody would like be upset over anything. Like, it's all good if you just stay out of the grizzly maze.
Yes, the Tsavo man-eaters were two lionesses who scientists have kind of determined that the colonizers coming into their region and building little towns and stuff caused like the lions to go into a bit of a frenzy, because by tearing up their like habitat, they're tearing away their food source and water sources.
Right. So they got pretty territorial.
Yeah. So that's what I was kind of hoping would be the point of this movie is, hey, let's not encroach so much on these areas. But it was just a bear that was completely in the right for killing a bunch of poachers.
Yeah, the bear like literally was just living where it was supposed to be living, and then the poachers were just killing all these bears to kill it, and then they still didn't kill it, and then he found them and killed them because like it's just like a stupid way to like cause conflict. Okay, there could have been many other ways to do this, and this was like the bottom of the list. Man, I feel like this actually is kind of like the tragedy of the grizzly bear, Bart the Bear. So like the tragedy of the Grizzly Maze would be a better name, because it should be about like these insane people that live near the Grizzly Maze and are obsessed with killing the bear that's not tagged because they can't control it. Ugh. Well, that would have been a better story, listeners. But if you watched already, you'll understand that this got a 3.0 in Google, and I can agree.
I also can agree. On the bright side is, if you're only into horror movies for the boobs, you don't have to watch the whole thing for boobs. You get some like 5 minutes in. So
yeah, you know what? I thought that girl was gonna be like, maybe I thought she would like be a character.
Yeah, but she was just there for boobs.
Just for boobs, and then I thought that maybe she would be his girlfriend because he like rescued her from like her pimp.
Yeah,
but like no,
but no, they couldn't have like a single woman be like,
of course,
significant.
No way. Yeah, she's in and out. She's in and out in 5 minutes, and you see her boobs, and then I was like, oh, okay, and then
you also see her verbally abused by her pimp.
Yep. So if you like that, that's there too. Also, immediately after that, you see violence, so punching, and then justice served, which is
And I think somewhere in there you also see at least one grizzly bear attack. So you just need to watch like the first 10 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, you see one grizzly bear attack, but mostly what you see is people like, oh, the grizzly's nearby, the grizzly's nearby, the grizzly is nearby. And then they kind of see it and shoot at it, and then they don't get attacked by it. So, yeah. They only get attacked by it because they're fucking constantly shooting at it. Jesus Christ. Like, just stay on the trail, and then everything will be fine.
So the implication of why the brothers were estranged and why the dad low-key disowned James Marsden was because James Marsden was taking poachers into the Grizzly Maze.
Okay.
So the implication would be that these guys are pro-grizzly bear and want to protect them, which isn't the case, because they don't take tranquilizers into the Grizzly Maze. They take rifles.
Like sniper rifles or some shit. And weird pistols. They take like weapons that aren't really made to like take down an animal, which is a tranquilizer.
Yeah. A rifle is like, that's not the ideal. Is it the ideal? At least not for grizzly bears, right? No. Because rifles, you have to reload each time unless it's an automatic.
Well, Billy Bob Thornton had a fucking, like, he had like a rifle with a scope on it, but he still had to reload, like you said, because it was like a semi-automatic or something. But
because
like,
with a 5-ton bear's running at you, you don't have the time.
Yeah, to reload. Also, that kind of weapon is not made for a bear. It's made for another man, and a bear is like humongous, right?
And also, I think you can reuse rifles for like deer hunting, but those are slow animals that you're stealthily hunting. They're not going to charge at you with long ass claws. Yeah, you're not shooting like in defense. Like you're shooting to control the population of the deer. God, yeah, I don't know, like what's the right thing to use, because it's unethical to really probably try to shoot up a bear with like a machine gun or something. Yeah. Oh man. Well, anyway, it's unethical to just shoot a grizzly bear if they're on the. Yeah, why don't they just stay away from the Grizzly Maze? Holy shit! Just guys, get out of there. So I feel like this movie was definitely just made by people who thought hunting grizzly bears would be cool. without caring about the implication of what that meant. Why is this stupid?
Yeah, nobody was quite convincing in doing anything, and the bear is not wreaking havoc at all. The people are just being dramatic, and everybody's got like paranoia, mass paranoia, you know? So I feel like that would have been a cool thing to explore. But like, no, it's just the only antagonist is this one very evil bear, and we barely see him attack Billy Bob Thornton. And the only reason he does is because Billy Bob Thornton fucking shot at him. So I don't see the bear being in the wrong ever. Rest in peace. He does die in the end, though, you guys.
Bear was a good old boy.
After being stabbed in the throat and having horrible 2015 blood CGI in its mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the story.
Yeah, pretty much. How did you feel about the production quality of this movie? I thought the scenery was very lush.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
Didn't give me like strong Alaskan vibes, but I guess I can't expect Alaska to always be covered in snow, so that's on me.
Yeah, me too, because I was like, where are they again? Seattle, Washington State, and then it said Alaska. And I was like, oh my God, they are in Alaska. My bad. So same. There's no snow, and I got confused.
Yeah. Like it didn't feel Alaska-y. It just felt like any generic woods.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
I guess the grizzly bears make it Alaskan.
Yeah.
Nothing stood out to me in regards to the soundtrack other than that just me not having surround sound.
Yeah.
The sound balancing was not great.
Right. Agreed. The production, I would say that, like, yes, I agree that it does have beautiful shots of like the woods. It says that this was actually filmed in Big Bear, California, so we're like up north in the California region.
So it wasn't even filmed in.
Yeah, it wasn't even filmed in Alaska, so that's okay that we got confused, Sam, because they weren't even there. That aspect was beautiful, but coupling this beautiful nature with awful CGI and even worse, like, FX makeup, not a good combination.
Yeah. Billy Bob Thornton's glasses, not good.
Not good.
Did not like those. Just in general, it felt like they didn't really put in the research into writing a deaf character and how to do that effectively. It was just like,
yeah,
I wouldn't be shocked if I found out Piper Parabo's character wasn't even in the original script. She just showed up on set one day and they shoehorned her in, and that's why she doesn't have any lines.
Wouldn't that be funny? Because like I wouldn't be surprised either about why she doesn't have any lines. Huh. Power of movies. You would never know.
Yeah. So realistic aspects.
Yeah, because nothing more to say about production. It was pretty, but everything else sucked.
Hurting sweet little grizzly bears.
Yeah, so I would say that like poaching grizzly bears on their own territory, in like land that's designated for them, that's pretty realistic, and like you should be cursed for that.
Yeah. And from the perspective of the grizzly bears, being hunted with a rifle by someone who swore to protect you.
Yeah.
And just wanted to put collars on you at first, because I get the point for the collars. If they're like tracking the grizzly bears, that's like an actual biological thing, is like studying their paths and all that shit.
Oh yeah.
But like, if you care about the grizzly bears, why are you taking a rifle in there in the first place?
I know, why are you obsessed with killing them?
Yeah. Like, it wasn't even implied that the grizzly had like rabies or something.
No, not at
all. That's a good reason to put one down, because rabies is very bad.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't have this bear, like you said, come into town and like fuck shit up.
Yeah.
That would have been like the only real reason to take it down.
Yeah. This movie just overall was lazy. I guess being deaf and having a passion for nature photography, but a husband who doesn't like come with you so he can be your ears.
Yeah, like what the hell? Because whenever he said that like she's out and about camping, I was like, oh yeah, she was just a camper. And they're like, oh my God, she is deaf. I was like, oh, that's I mean, like I get that you're trying to be like brave and independent, but you're in the Grizzly Maze, woman.
Yeah. Like I guess it's their attempt at adding more tension to the movie, but
it just adds more stupidity to the movie.
It missed the mark for me.
Yeah. Skated right past bravery and right into stupidity, which is a fine line that you tread.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, you know what? A huge fucking realistic aspect. When there are poachers just killing all these bears and then they kill you. What the fuck? Why did they kill Johnny Cadillac? He didn't do anything bad to them. He said he wanted to leave and they shot him. Like what? Like, I don't understand that.
I get they whatever you need for the inciting incident, I guess. It doesn't need to make sense.
Right. I thought those two guys were gonna like be the bad guys.
Yeah.
But we never see them again.
All right, here's how I fix the movie.
Okay.
Cut out both women.
Yes.
You still have the tension between the brothers because maybe one of them lost their hearing protecting the other by shooting a grizzly and the gun was like super loud for a fucking 10-year-old.
Yeah, because the two kids. Oh, yeah.
And then you still have the younger brother who gets arrested for taking poachers into the Grizzly Maze to make extra money because your family house is going to be foreclosed on.
Right.
And still the whole thing where he shoots somebody, I guess, happens. And then you don't have Johnny Cadillac die. Instead, you have their father not just die off screen as a half-assed exposition.
Yeah.
He's like kidnapped by poachers and forced to take them into the Grizzly Maze because they want to get big money for like bringing a bear head to someone.
Yeah.
And then
like some black market stuff. Yeah.
And then you have the brothers reunite to go rescue their dad.
Heck yeah.
And then that's a better movie.
Yeah. And then they come together and they bond through shared trauma. The end. Absolutely.
Yeah. And they also don't have a rifle with the intention to kill bears because the whole point of the Grizzly Maze is like a bear sanctuary.
Yeah, so it should be called like the Bear Sanctuary instead.
Yeah.
Like Rescue in the Bear Cemetery would be a more apt title if we went with Sam's movie, which we should.
And then you can still have the tension of like a grizzly bear stalking them because that is a real fear. Grizzlies are very dangerous. Yeah. But at the end of the movie, they low-key team up with the bear because the bear is like the one that comes in and takes out the poachers while the father and sons escape on the dinghy.
Yeah, they have a common enemy, so they can team up with the bear at any time. And the bear, being so smart and intelligent as it is, has an understanding that's unspoken between him and the humans that they understand that they need to get rid of the poacher. That'd be a great action movie.
Yeah, and then the movie doesn't end with them killing an endangered species.
Yeah, like shit. And a humongous one, which is probably like really, really cool because whatever size bears are, like I feel like that one is like a really just like beautiful, lovely, ginormous bear, and they're like, let's kill it because it's so big. Like, no, you need to leave them alone so they can like be marvels of nature.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So overall rating, I give this a what the fuck did I just watch, because I don't think they knew what they wanted to do with this movie.
I don't think they knew I think they said the same thing probably when they finished filming. They're like, what the fuck did I just watch happen?
And I mean, the best part for me was just that stupid ass green screen effect.
Oh my God, with the ring of fire. Yep. Yeah. I'll never forget that. But you know what I did forget, which is the very, very beginning, whenever the two kids were like in the woods. I like totally forgot about that exposition of them as children. I was like, oh yeah, they're in the woods, okay. But I do want to say one thing about that ending or that beginning. Whenever like the one kid was like getting stalked on by the bear, there was this like camera effect when it was like trying to be like blinking eyes. So it was like black screen, black. Did you notice that? I was like, what are they doing? I was like, this isn't making me nervous. This is like making me like sick. Like, stop it.
Yeah, this movie was just a load of missed opportunities.
It was, and I agree. F as my grade. For what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah, I was about to say, did you hate this movie so much you're making up a new scale?
Yeah, I do. F means what the fuck did I just watch?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But at least we watched it, and now we know. Now we know how to fix it.
Yeah. I know what my Grizzly Bear movie's gonna be.
Dude, yeah. So if there's ever an opportunity to screenwrite a Grizzly Bear movie, you have to redeem it. You have to redeem this film.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Well, I think that's all I have to say about that.
I think so too.
All right. Well, in that case, I will gladly transition to the outro if we're ready.
I think we are.
All right, cool. Well, in that case, Real Horror Show was created by Sam Odie and Stormy Skies and is directed by Sam Odie. Wow. Today, we learned that you shouldn't go into the Grizzly Maze.
And that grizzly bears may not be endangered, but they are on the protected species list.
Yeah, shouldn't they know that when they're collaring them up and stuff? I don't the more you think about it, the more questions arise, Sam. I don't want to think about it any longer.
Yep.
Like what you hear, you can find Real Horror Show on Spotify, TuneIn, Google Play Store, Stitcher, and iTunes, and Pandora. Really, really like what you hear? Follow us on Twitter at HorrorShowPod or search for Real Horror Show on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook at Real Horror Show. Like our page and share our stuff. We also have a website that all of our written reviews and podcast episodes can be found, realhorrorshow.com. Want to interact with us? Want to make sure we're real humans and not space vampires? Comment on our website or email us at realhorrorshowpodcast@gmail.com. Want to argue with us about something? Or think that you have a really great horror movie review that you're dying to share with two random strangers from the internet? Submissions are open for movie reviews. Check out the submit page on our website and follow the rubric for sending us anything. If it's not done according to the rubric, it will be disregarded. Sorry, not sorry. All right, we love horror, and if you're listening, you do too. Please help us keep our project going by visiting our support page on our website, where you can make a one-time donation via PayPal. We also have an Amazon wish list. If you feel like buying us something tangible will help convey your love more than a monetary donation would. Also, Buy Us a Coffee is a button you can click that will pay us the amount you would need to buy a coffee. A little bit goes a long way. Sometimes we can't help out artists monetarily, and that's okay. By simply liking, sharing, retweeting, and even giving us an awesome review will help us out tremendously. And any other pertinent news? It is Earth Day, but that's all I have on my end.
It's Earth Day. Recycle.
Yeah, reduce, reuse, recycle. Yes, Sam. Yes.
It's okay if you're still wearing a lot of the same clothes you had in high school.
It's okay.
Because that means you're not partaking in fast fashion.
Yes, it's good to buy, not thrift, but it's good to buy secondhand. So try to do that as often as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And walk more, plant some flowers or a tree, care for your honeybees, and don't flush when you pee.
And don't hunt endangered species.
Yeah, seriously, that's at the top of the list. Holy shit. If you find yourself in that situation, please don't do what this movie does. Please don't.
Oh God, and they just left that fire unattended in the woods.
Oh my God, I know.
I just
they made a mess. They're just so messy.
I just realized they started a huge fire, and while they are a decent way away from the trees, one of those embers could just float away over into the brush and go.
I know. And
oh
like, who knows how many like bullet casings they left littered on the ground for little baby animals to eat. And I didn't see them like, you know, pitch their tent and take all their tent shit away. That shit's still out there. They just like leave stuff everywhere because they're just humans and they trash the place.
And I thought they were supposed to understand. Maybe I'll rewatch this and my questions will be answered, but I'm so confused.
I know, like that's what I just said. Like the more you think about it, the more questions arise. So
absolutely,
you just get mad. You're just getting angry.
Who's to say that once they're gone, it's a bear? It may be clever, but it's not super smart. If it like runs through the ring of fire once it gets too close, it might not run into the river. It might run into the woods and start a huge forest fire.
I know, right? Oh my god, dude!
Killing the rest of the bears in the woods.
Ugh. And like killing the woods. I don't understand, dude. This movie just
was bad.
I hope this movie doesn't exist in real life somewhere.
Yeah. But that's all I have.
Awesome. That's all I have too. No more pertinent news from my end. But you'll have to fill me in on the pertinent news privately off mic about what we discussed earlier. But anyway. If you're wondering, our outro song is called Creepy Doll by Jonathan Coulton. And thank you, fuck off, and have a swell evening. And this is Real Horrorshow signing off.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And there's a creepy doll that always follows me.